Hey everybody, John Grimsmo here. Today I've got a few little projects to work on, so I figured I'd bring you guys along. No big deal. It's a Friday, it's a stat holiday today, so everybody had the day off. I even had the day off. But it is 8 p.m., so I thought I'd come into the shop and get a couple hours of cool work done, get the current running for the night, and vlog it. So let's go. Oh my gosh, the shop is actually quiet. The shop is never quiet. The air compressor is set to kind of idle and cycle like all the time if there's a draw, and right now everything's off, so there's no draw. So all I hear is one fan motor, probably from the UMAC, which is like on but not on, like e-stopped right now. Maybe the air compressor is fan. Anyway, it's quiet. It's nice. Okay, let's get some work done. I've got a pile of McMaster boxes to go through. I've got about 4 projects worth of stuff there that I need to separate and sort because everything's all together. Got a couple things to run on the kern. Step 1, dinner. Nice big burrito. Normally because I've been running it deep into the night, every night for 3 months straight, it's fantastic. I don't think it's really turned off. But last night when I left, it was a crazy day, so I didn't have time to load up the night run. So I was like, you know what, I'm good. I'm cool, it's fine. I'm gonna go home, spend time with my family, as opposed to stay super late and get that kern running. So that's why I come in today and do it today. Oh, if you remember, when I first got the machine, they messed with the intro screen and they put Saunders' logo right there. Well, I figured out where that file is and I changed it. And I got rid of the Saunders logo, no offense, and I put our Grimsmo logo there, and I'm really, really happy with it. It looks awesome. Any second now, the shop's gonna get quite a bit louder. Kern's gonna like start clicking on, and air compressor's gonna come on any second. Alrighty, first thing I have to do is I have to rework 2 Rask handles. The Tool 1/8 inch flat end mill that does the, where the pivot goes, chipped out a little bit, so the pivot doesn't sit flush on this pair of handles. So I'm gonna put them back in. I got a little code, fresh tool. It's gonna come in and zip away the bad part. So everything's on. Kern has done a spindle warm up. Aeroa has been turned on. I'm calling Cycle Def 340 workpiece number 9. Cycle start, and door should open up. Robot comes in, grabs the pallet, lifts it up, pulls it back, and I'll put it back in spot number 6. Then it's going to come over and grab spot number 9. And then bring it over and put it back in the chuck. And just like that, it's that easy. Check this out. These are my smooth handles. Holy moly. I settled on a 5/1000 step over with a 1/4 inch ball. Whoa, that looks good. It is actually contoured. And wow, you see rainbows in the finish. So this right here is what I'm talking about. This feature where the pivot screw goes, the tips of the end mill got chipped out and created just bad corner geometry. So I've got a little program that's going to come in, recut those, no big deal. Also check out my contoured smooth surface finish here. It's actually a rounded surface like all the Rask handles are, but it's contoured with such a tight step over, a 5/1000 of an inch step over with a 1/4 inch ball, and it looks so good. It's actually like reflecting rainbows in the light. And that tumbles out gorgeously. Takes quite a while to run, but I like it. So I'm gonna recut that, and then once that's good, I'm gonna put the handles on, the blanks for tonight's run. And I'm going to run a couple extra clips because I'm short on smooth clips. I didn't do it quick enough. And then I'm also going to run on this side some soft blades. Right there. Okay, check this out. This Heidenhain 640 control is a touch screen. So if I get out of that, this is your main menu. I hit the program management button, and this is touchscreen. This is your file system. This is where all the files are. So I have my main Grimsmo folder. My multi-palettes is where I run most of the things, multiple palettes every night. But then I've done a decent job, and I'm pretty happy with my organization so far. I have a logic codes folder. I have a Norseman folder, a Rask folder, a random folder, vices and work holding. These are the main ones that I use. So under Rask, I have Rask subroutine. So I have my Rask, which is like master, soft blade, some stuff like major files. And then the subroutines are the individual kind of sub files. There we go. And I'm trying to sort it like clip backside, handle backside, clip top side, because some of the things like blade hard bevels has a lot of steps involved. And they're sorted by date right now, that's why the numbers are all weird. So Rask bevel, mill the first side, probe the first side, grind the first side, blah, 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 blah. There's 19 steps, plus dressing the wheel, plus all kinds of stuff. So my sorting, I'm pretty happy with it. It's good. What am I looking for right now? I'm looking for, so like, I'm running handle topside, so where's that file? Well, Rask subroutines, handle topside, right here, redo, not clip a mounting slot, not lock bar topside, pivot and screw heads. With T57, that was the bad tool. Golden. Select that, run that, should be good to go. I'll turn the coolant off so you guys can see what's going on. I know this is just finish cutting, it's not doing much, so I don't worry about the coolant being off. I can hear it. Just at the end, you can hear it just pick up a little bit of sing. Beauty. See this operation right here where it's spiraling down the bore? I'm not happy with this operation. I find it's chipping the tips of my end mill. It's a decent toolpath, a bore toolpath, but this is, I think, the reason why my tools are chipping, and I need to find a different solution. Because I'm just not getting the tool life that I want out of it. And it's causing problems, like having to redo the handles. That's not fun. Not often, but once the tools get near the end of the life. So there's a couple little things that I've done, not special, but unique for my situation on this machine. A couple things is I've forced the spindle basically as often as possible to park itself in the rear corner. It's the safest place. My tombstones are really tall. They're like 7+ inches tall. The tool is kind of really close there. So if the spindle's hanging out right here and the B-axis wants to tip over, it's risky. So every code, after almost everything, the spindle goes back in the corner, and I have to kind of make that happen. I like that though. The other cool thing about the Heidenhain control is the MDI button right there, which brings you to your MDI screen. Now MDI is manual data input, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. That's where you type in like G0, X0, Y0, means fast move to the X0, Y0, your left to right, front, back, 0. On all of our other Fanuc machines, you get one type. You get to type a couple lines and then you hit enter and then it disappears and you do it again. Whereas with Heidenhain, it remembers. I have basically a text file here of all of the lines that I use all the time. And it's fantastic, I just keep them here. So call touch probe, call tool 0, call tool 130, I'll edit this one for whatever tool I'm doing. This is my go to home position, the back corner, 1.94, 1.94, 1.94. Orient the spindle, touch off the tool, change the workpiece to pallet 9, etc. So what I'm going to do, and then I've got a couple down here. This tombstone, you got soft blades, handle backside, handle top. So I'm going to click on handle top because touchscreen is awesome. And then I know it's back corner, it's safe. So if I hit cycle start, boom. So now my handle top is presented to me. So from here, I can unload the pallet. As I don't often load on the tombstone like I'm doing right now, where I'm unloading that pallet, because I use the pallet changer so much. I usually have that tombstone in the pallet changer, and then I pull it out, put it on the bench, load it that way. But anything I do work in the machine, we love these DeWalt drills. We've been using them for years. I like the little pocket clip on it, and I find myself going like this all the time. I just hook it to my pocket, like that, and then I use it, and then I hook it, and it works all the time. Usually these little accessories in stuff you buy goes unused. It's like the kickstand on your bike. You're like, I don't need a kickstand. But some of the drills we have, everyone I use, has those on it. I love it. So now I'm just gonna bring you over here. I'm gonna pull off these finished handles. They should be perfect now. And then I'm gonna put on these handles, which are cut on the inside, but not on the outside yet. So these are gonna replace those, and then be ready for tonight's run. I just realized, I probably don't talk about this often enough, like how we attach our handles to our pallets. Maybe I'll do a whole video on this sometime, because we've gone through so many iterations, and I'm the most happy with this. We've been doing it this way for 6-7 years or something. But basically, on the back of a handle, we have these threaded holes that we put in there. 4 per handle, sometimes 5. And then on the back of the fixture, so you have the front and then you have the back, all these holes. Also notice how I engraved the outline of where the handle is, so that I just kind of obviously know where the handle is, like where it goes on the fixture and which screws go to which handle. Because otherwise you just have a handle full of like screws on the back and you don't exactly know which one's which. That's been huge. But yeah, these are little 440 screws. I even engraved 440 by 1/2 inch, and then the handle just comes right off. It's pinned in place with these machined in pins that align to little features on the handle. So they're super repeatable, and they come on and off really quick. They hold them down really flat, securely. It works super duper well. Wipe it off, make sure there's no little chips or smudge. And sometimes I put 2 on at once. Sometimes it's tempting to do just like 1 spot hole on each. I don't like to do that. I like to make sure I've done everything while I'm here, because I don't want to forget one. And I always count. I know there's 8 for these handles, so I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because I don't want to forget. Okay, those are good, clips are good. I've got the drill set to my number 5 setting, so when it torques out, that's my tightness. And it works great. Okay, so I usually pop them down with the impact gently, and then use our Sandvik torque wrench. I have this big glob of tape on the tip to, it's kind of wobbly, and the glob kind of helps it be less wobbly, but not so much. But I always torque them down too. Click, click. Torquing almost everything just helps us be that much more consistent with the tightness of everything and the flatness and the parallelism and all that stuff. Consistency. Okay, next thing I'm gonna do is I want to run some extra soft blades and a few extra clips with the smooth pattern on it. I want to run extra blades because I'm working on making more of these tombstones, and in order to load up the initial run of the more tombstones, I need a couple extra blades to fill some extra spots. So I need some extras, and it's good to have a buffer so that between heat treat and lapping and other things, I always have a supply of hard blades ready to do the grinding on the other side of the pallet. So I'm going to write a quick program to do the blades, just the soft blade and just the clip, and I'll run that. That is one of the huge benefits of having all of my programs subroutined. So I have a soft blade code, I have a clip topside code, handle topside, clip handle backside, clip backside, whatever. So if I need to run just something specifically, I can just call up that little code and I can do multiples of them, as opposed to posting the entire tombstone as one giant file. This allows me to be a lot more nimble and a lot more picky choosy if I want to do starburst pattern on the top, or smooth, or crosshatch, or other patterns that we're working on. It's working really good. All right, let's see, maybe you can see the screen well enough there. It's pretty simple, the layout that I have for doing what I'm going to do. So I've got this block of code. M140 MB Max means Z go all the way to the top, and then L196, go to the corner, B0, C0, tilt the C and the B straight up and down, and then call workpiece palette 9, which it is, but this just guarantees that it does. And then call program TNC RASC. From here, I can select the file that I need. Select file, subroutines, clip, topside. Come on. Done. And I can do the same for blades. And then it's good to go. On this machine, it's actually really easy to make these main programs at the control. I find it easier at the control than on the computer because it gives you options, and it's really easy. I like it. I like it a lot. So for me to write a program that calls all these subroutines, like cakewalk. It's fantastic. So this should run for 20-25 minutes or so, and we'll go do other stuff while it's happening. All right, that's gonna do its thing. Let's go check out all that master stuff that I got. Okay, so we have a few projects on the go. I have this coolant gun that I want to attach on the kern for, spraying down the everything. I needed some fittings down there. This actually came with a really sweet swivel fitting. So that's nice. Like, this will actually swivel while it's installed and pressurized and everything. So that's kind of cool. We have, I'll run you back here. Don't run in the shop. Tell my kids that. Our Okamoto surface grinder is awesome, but check this out. It came with a really sweet coolant filter pump unit with a paper band filter. So this is all the paper filter media, and this is all the sludge and smudge that it's collecting, and it's working good. And then this kind of pools up with coolant, which you have to drain out, and it's not the... This is not the awesomest design of the thing because it just fills with coolant. However, it's supposed to just fill with paper, but whatever. You can see how much garbage that is collecting. Now, we're thinking that it's not collecting all of the smudge, and it's actually pumping like a little bit dirty coolant through our hose, through the hose to the nozzle, and then at the wheel, and that might be giving us some streaking and some pitting in the parts that we're grinding. So we're going to install a secondary coolant filter on here, just like this one. McMaster will show that. I have one on that machine. I have one on the Mori. I'll show you that in a second. Right there. Love it. And a few weeks ago, I installed 2 of them on the kern with a 10 micron bag filter and then a 5 micron bag filter. Because the grinding we do for the blades on the RASC produces all this tiny little dusty stuff. So these things work really well. And it uses these bags, 5 micron bags. Notice I'm storing the 5 micron bags next to the 5 micron filter, and I'm storing the 10 micron bags next to the 10 micron filter, and every machine has that, and it works really well. Also, I have these gauges telling me pressure in is getting kind of high. After the 10 micron filter is about 40. After the 5 micron filter is about 35. I've replaced the 5 micron, that's why these are close, but I have not yet replaced the 10 micron. That's why these have such a discrepancy. So I gotta replace that. But part of the McMaster stuff that I got is a couple fittings to do this drain and go 45 and go out the side and then into a bucket. So that's why I haven't done it properly yet. Haven't replaced that filter yet because I want to drain both sides out the side, not out the bottom. Okay, let's get a little tripod and we'll check out what we got here. Love this thing. So our shop is definitely getting up there in size and busyness, and we're getting packages every single day almost. It's a lot. So these are for the Tornos. They are just coolant filters. I mean, that's what we're talking about. Different kind of coolant filter though. All right, McMaster. I got like $1,600 worth of stuff. All the fittings and stuff comes compiled in this bag, so I'm gonna have to sort through it and figure out what's what. This bag too Another bag of super heavy fittings and screws and bolts and nuts and whatever. Bags. They're not individually, yeah they are, 10 micron, but I'm going to Sharpie on here 10 micron so that nobody's ever confused. Got some clear tubing. Got 50 feet of half-inch ID hose. Got stand for that coolant filter. And the filter unit itself. So these things are about $560 US. So it's, I mean, it's a lot of money. My first filters were those plastic clear things with a blue top. They're about $100 or whatever. They work okay, but after a couple of years, the plastic goes kind of crappy and just like can shatter. That's not good. These things are pressure rated to 500 PSI. Some of our machines have 300 PSI coolant. They're just really good. So that's why, I mean, even at $500 or $600 each, plus all the fittings and everything, I still want them on every machine we have because they're that good. Like, it's good. Alright. They're heavy, they're steel, welded steel construction. Come on. Look at this thing. It's a beast. It's by that R company, whatever. They've got a name. Rosedale. Okay. Because a lot of you guys are probably gonna ask, I'll give you the part number right here. There you go, 5 whatever. They make them in lots of different sizes, different fitting, inlet, outlet, whatever. This is the one, we standardize it everywhere. Yeah. They got your big 3/4 MPT inlet and outlet, and they also have your pressure gauge, 1/4 MPT in and out. They got 2 drains on the bottom, and even the thingy on the top, right there, so lots of options. This is great, this is great. So in all of these, I've got fittings for that coolant gun for the Kern, fittings for the Okamoto surface grinder, fittings and hose for, on Eric's side of the shop with the tumblers. We're tying 2 tumblers together to a paper band filter, just like what the surface grinder has. A paper filter that's going to filter all of the tumbler media. So I've got some fittings in here for him, and I think I'm still waiting on 1 or 2 packages from McMaster that's got even more stuff. 10 micron. 10 micron. Okay. Since I organized this order and I purchased all the parts and I planned out all these projects, there's actually like 4 or 5 different projects worth of stuff in here. There's some pin gauges, some thread gauges, some blah blah blah, all kinds of other stuff. So this is useless to everybody else until I go through it and sort it and organize it into categories basically, and then the other guys can be like, oh, that's my stuff for this machine or blah blah blah. Okay, let's go. Alright, it's not so daunting once I kind of spread it out. So you got the filter housing over there, plastic bags, garbage, pressure gauges, 0 to 60 PSI with, this is a good suggestion somebody had, a vibration dampener. It's got a tiny little hole in the bottom, and what that does is it prevents the needles from going boing every time pressure is applied to it. Kind of slows them down and works really good. Apparently the gauges last a lot longer that way. Got some ball valves, got some push lock hose barbs, hose clamps, 45-degree swiveling JIC fittings. I'm a big fan of JIC. That's kind of this kind of fitting. It's a taper connection joint with a swivel, and the hose has this, so it's just super easy to aim. Notice I have one here and one here, so it's easy to tighten and it's easy to aim because now I can aim it up or down. Like this one's at a gentle, you know, whatever, 20-degree down angle, and it's just a great standard. Otherwise, you're dealing with like hose barbs and twisting hoses and tightening and fittings that don't line up. So I try to JIC everywhere I can. Got another one there. They're expensive, but they're great. So yeah, JIC there. JIC here. Yeah, just all kinds of various fittings. These will be the drain valves for the bottom of the filters, and I've got some other uses for them. And then over here, that's current stuff. Pack of M5 bolts, pack of M10 bolts, 440 knurled nuts. These are, I'm excited about. These are threaded rubber encased magnets. So if you want to hang something on something, magnets are great, but rubber gives it that extra little stickiness so it doesn't slide down. Like I actually, when I printed this guy, I pressed in, gentle, I pressed in magnets, or I super glued, hot glued magnets into the back. Pretty big magnets. But even still, it still slips down and slides a little bit, so I'm not using it. But I wanted to mount it there. But for now, this kind of works fine. But adding that rubber layer should give so much more stickiness. And these have a threaded hole in the middle. So I'm excited for that. I ordered a bigger size, but I guess they're coming in the next package. And then in here I got a bunch of tiny little reamers. This is what size? 0.1101 for the lock bar inserts, and then a whole bunch of gauge pins. So I can have checking stands. So I can check the lock bar insert tolerances, and then Sky over in Heat Treat can also have his own checking set. So I got a whole ton of gauge pins that way. And plastic bags for days. All right, perfect timing. As I'm wrapping up, the Kern just finished making the extra parts. So I went through the list and I checked off, make sure everything's here. There is a section of order that's waiting to ship from their other warehouse. I'm sure it'll be here. Today's Friday, so I'm sure it'll be here on Monday. But I have, that's like a weird project, so I don't need that stuff right now. So I have everything for the surface grinder. I have everything for the tumbler. I think I have everything to hit that coolant gun. It's good. Kind of nice. I got one of the quicker projects done. I got my 45 attached down there with the hose, so that when I want to drain them, put a little bucket here, drain. Should work good. So I got a weird little thing I just noticed. Up until now, I've been making starburst clips, and then now I'm making these beautifully smooth clips, except the logo is missing. It's missing the sides. I'm pretty sure what's happening is when I make a starburst pattern like that, there's actually a lot of meat on those peaks, those high spots. So the engraving kind of hides itself very well. But this is cutting all of those peaks off, all the high spots, and I mean the engraving should contour the surface just beautifully. I don't know why it's not, but I'm gonna have to reprogram that and make it deeper specifically for the smooth clip. So I'll do that right now. Okay, the next thing I'm doing is hooking up the hose for the coolant gun. I'm pretty excited for this. And so I strung the spool through the crack between the Aroa and the Kern all the way to the other side. And then what we have is, in our shop, we have the central cooling system. So, well, coolant fill system. So we have our pressurized IBC container in the back with water, mixes it through the Mixotron, pumps pre-mixed coolant throughout the shop to each machine. So this red hose right here is when the system is on, it's pressurized with like a 1 or 2% premix, and that's what I'm going to use for the hose, the schnozzle, to wash down the machine and do little light fill-ups there as well. So I've got this line. It's not pressurized right now, but it is definitely full of coolant. So here is the coolant tank. This is the transfer pump that pumps the coolant out of the tank and into the chiller and paper band filter and everything over there. I'm going to cut the red line over the tank so that anything that leaks out, obviously, is smart enough to go right into the tank. And then I've got a T-fitting there, and then I'll plumb it up and it'll be good. Use my damn steel rasp, you know, no big deal. Okay, got my perfect spot right there. I don't know how much is gonna leak out. Probably not super much. I have confirmed that this is not steel braided hose, because I've done that before. Oh yeah. There's some, not much, but there we go. I'm going to be using these hose fittings, which I guess they're called push lock hose, or I don't know exactly what the name is, but they're designed with sharper, bigger barbs so that theoretically you don't need a hose clamp on these fittings. And we've got one on the Nakamura with this kind of clamp, you know, quality Parker fitting and hose, 300 psi, no clamp, no hose clamp on it, and it works fine. Just kind of sketchy, like it feels weird. Okay, I guess I'm gonna pipe tape these and then press it on. One side pressed on, and now that I think about it, I really should have put JIC fittings, swivel, removable fittings on this T, because it spans over the chip conveyor, and if I need to move anything, it's kind of in the way. So removable JIC would have been amazing here. In the future, if I ever have to remove it, I'm gonna have to cut the hose and like shorten it. That's fine. These hose fittings are really difficult to push on. Yeah, because I guess they're bigger and barbier, but they're half-inch ID hose. Takes a lot of force. All right, I'm just about there. Pretty sure the theory is you want to push the hose until these don't wiggle. So I've still got a tiny bit of push left to go. So I got more to do. It's really hard. I slipped and smashed my knuckle on the bottom of this bolt. Well, I'm gonna call that good. They are not touching, but they are plenty on, in my opinion. They're past the two barbs. It's a low pressure line. There's like 40 psi going through it. It's fine. But I should have gone JIC. I should have gone swivel, removable, tweakable. Although I like how low profile these are. It's nice, no hose clamps, getting all bulky and pokey and stuff. Should be done though. I have everything plumbed up. The coolant system is pressurized. Let's see if this thing works. I haven't tried this yet. I'm actually really excited. Ooh. Oh yes! So you squeeze it just a little bit and you get a big fan. You squeeze it a lot, you get the stream. And I put a ball valve right at the handle so that you know, I can turn down the flow. There's initial impressions. That's a lot of flow. Oh, it's so nice though. Woo, splashy. Yes, I'm happy. So my next theory, like I showed you earlier, these rubber-coated neodymium magnets with the M4 threaded hole in the back, is to make this thing's got these cover bolts on the side here, so that you can take it apart and like mess with the valve inside. I can 3D print a bracket that goes on top of here, screws onto those holes, and also screws onto one or more of these neodymium magnets, so that I can have a bracket and I can slap it right to the side of the Aroa here, and it should have enough force to stick very confidently. So let's try these things out. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, that's on there. I can slide it. I mean, it's kind of difficult because the rubber is so grippy. I like it. Got a quick test here. I got my magnet attached with just a long M4 screw. And it absolutely, just the one little one, absolutely hangs it by itself. Two would be plenty. I mean, for now, this is probably what I'll just leave it like this. and then eventually 3D print that bracket. But for now, this is not bad. So this is just a regular neodymium magnet, but you can see how slidey it is on the painted surface. Whereas this is obviously a bigger magnet, but it's grippy. Alright, it's getting late, but I figured out why the clip was not engraving, you know, smoothly on the sides. I was using a trace toolpath, which follows the contour of the sketch, and my sketch is flat. What I needed to use was a project toolpath, which projects a flat sketch down onto the curved surface and will follow the whole surface. So I just tweaked that in Fusion. Now it's a project toolpath, post it, go. I'm gonna fix the one clip and then run it for the night. Nailed it. Looks great now. It's weird, so it's always been the bad flat engraving, but on the Starburst clips it's fine, you don't even see it. But now, all the clips will have the proper engraving from henceforth. Okay, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. I am definitely winding down, getting ready to go home. Let me show you what I got lined up on the Kern, and then I'll hit cycle start on that. And then I gotta go clean up the mess I made here, put a few things away, and clean that up. And then I get to go home. Yeah! Okay, let's check this out. So, lined up for tonight, I have my multiple palettes program. So in that program, I'm calling palette 9, which is going to make an entire rasp. Inside of the handles, outside of the handles, soft blade, 2 hard blades. This is where it does the blade grinding. Roughs it out with an end mill, and then a little grinding wheel comes in and finishes those up. This way. Back side of the handles, back side of the clip right there. Top side of the handles, clip, soft blade. Okay, so that's gonna do a whole thing. It takes about 4 hours. And then in the Iroha, so it's gonna do that first, and then it's gonna call palette 16. This is going to become another one of those. So it's gonna mill all of the features to mount all of those parts. That takes about 2 hours. I've got these prepped for next time. If that works successfully, then I will do it to that and that tomorrow or the next day or whatever. Here, I'm going to make, so after it makes that, then it's gonna make this, and these are Delrin inserts that when you grind the first side of the blade, and then you flip it over, it's not supported because it's like ground away, it's missing edge. So I have a Delrin insert that I install into the fixture that kind of like cups and gently supports the blade bevel as it is being ground. Okay, so palette 9, palette 16, and then 12 and 14. And then number 5 and 6 will be, on this side we got all the small palettes. Rask lock bar inserts, op 2. And then Norseman lock bar inserts, op 1. So a simple little 6 palette run tonight. But every day that I make more tombstones and more clampy things and more clampy things like this, I get closer and closer to running more entire knives every day, more tombstones, more Rasks, more Norsemans, etc. So I'm there. I'm close. This thing is gonna be the new standard is gonna be it's still running when I come in the morning from yesterday, and I'm almost there. It's happened a couple times. I just need more of those. I need more tombstones, so they're almost done. Okay, I'm done. It's about 1:40 in the morning. I'm feeling pretty run down, so I did all my stuff. Got all of the things done, pretty happy. Kern's running. Should be 7-hour run, maybe 7.5, something like that. It's all good, so I'm out. All right, thanks for hanging out with me, you guys. See what I'm up to on a late Friday night, and hope you learned something. Take care, bye.